What's up, Starcraft fans? Today we're doing a tier list for Railroad Switch on Oblivion Express. Brian, let us hear the mutation.
Oblivion Express is the map where we have to destroy trains. They come in from the west, mainly along 2 tracks, and we have to destroy 9 of them to win the game. If we miss more than 1 train on brutal difficulty, we lose the game. Half of all enemies are immune to you, and the other half are immune to your ally. Then the immunity switches when enemy units, including the trains, revive upon death.
So, Sticksbender and Tutu are on the call with us today. Sticksbender, how are you going to rank the commanders today?
Let's see. So, it's kind of hard to really come up with a strong concrete ranking because, well, either way, you're going to be very dependent on your ally in this one. Especially with this one, the problem is that you each have to kill the train in turn.
Yes.
And then there's the double trains, so you're going to have to like go to the top train or bottom train first, whichever. Kill all the enemies together. Then one of you kills the train while the other person watches. Then the other person kills the train while the first person watches. Then you go down and repeat the process. And somehow you do this before the train walks away with its, 10,000 hit points. The good news is, trains with just die are kind of buggy and don't always actually revive properly. Commanders with damage over time effects seem to cause this bug to happen more often, so you might want to try using that kind of something. And then aside from that, you're just going to want really high DPS commanders who can just chew through that train very, very quickly and give your ally as much time as possible for them to do it. And then just hope you can find a good ally, because you're not winning this without a good ally.
Okay, so voice chat, damage output, and damage over time are your keys. How about you, Tutu?
I have nothing to add. So I was gonna mention the train bug, but yeah,
the bug.
you gotta hope for that. It's not reliable, so
No, it's not.
It's never reliable.
Neither is your ally.
But you can definitely get it over 50%.
True.
To be honest, the train bug. You can definitely get it over 50%. You just can never get it anywhere near 100%.
Yeah, I think guys who can actually do it, Hot and Horner. Do you remember Tutu? Hot and Horner had a pretty good rate at bugging out the train.
Artanis too, with Disintegrate.
Disintegrate. I don't know.
Disintegrate has a pretty solid chance of bugging it out, because of the fact that you can put a Disintegrate on each train, and each Disintegrate seems to have a chance of bugging it out, is what I've noticed.
That's
so if
funky.
you just Disintegrate every single card before it dies, Artanis, I could get it to relatively consistently do the bug.
That's funky. All right, so let's begin. Abathur, where do we have him?
Abathur, the fact that you have just died, so your toxicness will be wasted on things that it can't damage.
Yes.
You need your ally to help you lure early on.
Absolutely.
You might not even have enough damage for the first train.
And
after you get like a Brutalist and stuff, you have to hope that your Brutalist doesn't die. So you need to keep it alive. And there's just so much to do and so many things. And the enemy comp can't be like too strong. Too much anti-armor, like Dragoons or something. They might kill your one Brutalist early on. If
Immortals.
Yeah, so I think Abathur gets an F.
You haven't even mentioned Terran yet. Against Terran, you're just dead.
Oh yeah, they send Ravens because you use Toxicness early.
And nukes. Oh man, how about you, Sticksbender?
Honestly, unironically, I think you're better off using P1 and just going like Mass Ravager than actually using Ultimate Evolutions here. That is a thing that Abathur can do. It does not get him out of F tier here, I don't think, because he's very much like Abathur is oriented towards tanking things, not having huge DPS, and the train just says, okay, then I'll just leave.
Yep. All right, Abathur gets an F tier. Sorry, Abathur.
Yeah, I think if you're using Ultimate Evolutions, you're probably doing it wrong here. Actually, I'd say.
How do you get enough damage output using the Essence Hoarder? Do you get a lot of spines early, sacrifice your
It'll
economy.
No, you could just Ravagers have pretty solid DPS actually compared to the rest of Abathur's kit.
By 5 minutes?
Yeah, the first train the first train is super flimsy. It's just the third train is the first like big check, because like the third train has, what is it, like 5 times the hit points of the first train?
Yeah.
The third train is the first hard one. The second train is a bit hard, but it should be fine. The third train is where it's murder.
I've played Abathur. I stopped counting the number of attempts. Yeah, he's definitely F.
Yeah.
Prestige or not, he's F. Alarak, where do we have him?
Alarak has good DPS.
Oh, yes.
Unfortunately, he has a bunch of. He has 2 problems. One, his hero unit becomes a lot more flimsy because he can't go healing his hero unit properly unless his ally shows up and actually kills their part. Because, well, he only gets to heal when things die, not when they get flipped polarity by just die.
Oh, well.
So that's a bit of a problem, and of course his army is, very expensive and valuable and can't really be replaced if it dies. Ascendants are tanky once they get their stacks, but they can't be replaced if they die. So he does have those problems of you need your ally to be on top of things. However, if your ally is on top of things, you can like delete the train in a matter of frames. So that's really good.
How do you feel about Wrathwalkers here?
Again, I think that they're gonna run into the problem of being, they work, they're less micro intensive, they are more fragile than Ascendants because 1, they could be hit by anti-air, so that's not great, and 2, they don't have 800 shields, right? A well-stacked Ascendant is considerably tankier than a Wrathwalker, but Wrathwalkers should still work. Either way, you're going to be dependent on your ally to be, present and on top of things.
Okay.
And do remember, your destructive wave on Alarak hero unit will still yeet back enemies that are not your polarity. It'll just yeet them back without damaging them.
Letter.
A. Maybe I think he's A, maybe only a B, but I think he's A.
How about you, Tutu?
Put him in A. Similar reasons. Overcharge is gonna suffer a little because it hits things that it can't damage.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, that's really
that
annoying.
sucks. Yeah, I as long as you guys fight in like a huge death ball, I think your fragile units should be protected pretty well, and you deal lots of damage, so you'll deal with your share of the train pretty quickly. And I think that, yeah, so I think A is good.
I had him in B because I have commanders generally lower here because of this mutation itself, but I am okay with A. Arcturus, where do we have him?
This is a polarity mission, but if you
is
contaminate strike
This is an Earth Splitter mission.
attack waves, they will stop going towards your base. If you contaminate strike the escort waves, they will spin around, and then after a while they will join up again. So if you can do that to the you can do that several times before they actually start moving. You can kill your train before it even gets to like the usual, like the middle part.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to time the waves, you can check my guide. I have I guess a quick guide on how to time the contaminated waves, the contaminated strikes on each wave. The short answer is 58.
Yeah, 58. All right. So letter.
Yeah, so I put them in S.
How about you, Sixbender?
Yeah, you can bug out in waves, so you can actually solo waves despite the fact that it's polarity, because you just tell them to stop and then they stop. You can have your train, like, if it's your polarity to start, then it'll be your ally's polarity by the time it leaves the station. And then even when your ally is fighting stuff, the stuff that's not your polarity will be spinning in circles because you've crowd controlled it into oblivion, and the stuff that is yours will be dead within seconds.
Nice.
Yeah, S tier easily.
Awesome.
It still makes Gone Oblivion Express, even with Polarity.
It is still our splitter map. There it is. Oh, I did it again. Artanis, what do you have?
You have to be P1. Well, you should be P1. Otherwise, you can't contaminated strike as many as often.
So P1
You
required.
should be P1.
All right. Without
Have to be.
prestige,
You really should.
does he go down to A?
No. He's at
You
tier
just
either
can't-
way. It's just P1
So it
makes your
doesn't
life
matter.
easier.
All right.
Yeah.
Artanis, where do we have him?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think of another thing for P1. With P1, the Contaminated Strike also debuffs all units to take 25% increased damage. So even when it's your ally's train, you can help them kill the train.
Awesome. Artanis, where do we have him?
So Artanis, as I said, if you mass Tempests, you can get the train to bug out relatively more often, which means that the trains that you have to kill first, your ally might not have to kill at all, which is good. Because after you finally get through the train, a lot of commanders won't be able to kill it at all because you don't have that much DPS.
Yep. True.
To go with that bugging things out. Yeah. Like Artanis is like he's just kind of got like his army is able to A move, and that's convenient because it doesn't like his army doesn't get because of his relatively long range. His army doesn't get super obliterated by Polarity, but it's kind of grasping at straws here. It's like ultimately he just doesn't have enough DPS, and he doesn't have anything particularly good to bring to the table. So I'd say he's probably down in C tier or even D tier.
Wow. How about you, Tutu?
I don't think he does anything. He just if he doesn't have mobility, he's not good against just die. If the enemy's like super anti-armor or something, your dragoons or tempests are gonna die. I think he's more like D or below.
So both of you
that.
can agree on D.
Yeah, D's fine.
All right. I think I had him in C, but don't have any complaints with D. Also, the first time Railroad Switch came around, Artanis and Zagara are what a lot of people used to beat this because Artanis and Zagara have some insane garden shell synergy. So that take that for what it's worth. Dehaka, where do we have him?
Dehaka. The impalers are good against trains, but then it's hard to tell. Well, you have to like put them along the entire track because you don't know if you're fighting the train first or second.
Yes.
Pack leaders can tank for a long time, so they can take a lot of the hits while your ally kills their stuff, and you're also dealing damage to your units. And you probably want Mutalisks to support the impalers so that because
They're good
you want
anti-air.
mobility as well.
Yeah, mobility.
I think
And because air units exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too. I put him in B. He's okay.
How about you, Sixbender?
Also, Mervar can crowd control, and I like crowd control
Mervar.
for this mutation. But yeah,
Yeah.
B. B makes sense.
Without prestige, still B.
You do the same thing except Dehaka's with you.
Okay. So B it is.
Using his crowd control.
Yay.
Nice. Yeah, I think B is fine. Fenix, where do we have him?
So he has DPS. He has expendable hit points. He doesn't have crowd control exactly. Well, he does. He has the Arbiter suit, which, to be fair, on this map, the trains often come with relatively sparse detection, like one detector for the whole train. So if you know what you're doing with the Arbiter suit, you can stasis the detector, only the detector, don't waste energy stasising more, and then cloak you and your ally, and then Amon suffers because he can't see you. I remember that Oblivion Express is one of the best maps for that, honestly, with the Fenix Arbiter suit.
Nice.
Because Amon is quite bad at sending multiple detectors on this map for the train waves. So that's good. Also, Fenix has DPS, and also Caldelis is expendable hit points.
Yes.
that can be expended multiple times.
Many
but
times.
for a lot of the train waves, you won't even need the expendable hit points because you and your ally are both invisible and Amon's blind. So yeah, Fenix is good. I think he could be A tier, to be honest.
How about you, Tutu?
I didn't think of that, but I still put him in A because most comps will only have a few air units, and if they're air units, you just make more mojos, or
More
if you're
mojos.
not going P2, then you get carriers or something like to stall the air units. While Caldalis deals with the train and all the ground units.
Without prestige, is he still A?
Yeah.
You just mass carriers.
Nice.
Or
I
like
think it's
scouts
unanimous.
or something.
I also have an A.
Without prestige, you're just more dependent on the cloaking arbiter trick thing instead of just being like, I just send so many Caldalises, I don't care.
Nice. All right. Cool. Yeah, I'm okay with Phoenix in A. Hot and Horner, where do we have him?
They suck.
That's a solid. They suck.
They don't do anything. Like
they die.
You gotta fight against like the right comp and not die, and your call in the fleet keeps hitting nothing. Mag mines are wasted a lot. Strike fighter usage is important, so you snipe the things that are not yours. The things that are yours, you can hit them before your ally fights or something. But you got to be really good with Han and Horner to achieve mediocre results or even less than mediocre. So I put them in F.
Yikes. Are you sure?
The only thing they have over Abathur is that they have a ton of train DPS, unlike Abathur. So at least if you can miraculously make it through all the things that fight back, yeah, you can delete the train in like a matter of seconds. It's just getting to that point is gonna be you're gonna be dependent on your ally to be able to bring a lot of health and or crowd control to the table in order to make up for the fact that you suck.
Are you sure your experience? Are you sure your ranking isn't tainted by our experience, Tutu? Have you tried soloing with Han and Horner?
I put him in F before we played.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. No, Han and Horner are bad. I think they might actually be slightly better than Abathur, but they're still left here.
Oh yeah. Abathur is the bottom of F.
Yes, he's just too low
F
on DPS.
minus. Karax, where do you have him?
As it turns out, Karax actually does have a lot of hit points in the form of his reviving zealots and carriers and such. His interceptors have, if you have full mastery for unit health and shields, his interceptors have 130 life each, which means each carrier is bringing to the table 1,040 hit points worth of interceptor. And they get rebuilt rapidly if they die. So that's great. As for DPS, his army is mediocre DPS. His top bar is pretty strong DPS, even against trains. If you're using Solar Lance on the train, that's helpful. Also, Solar Lance is a damage over time, so I haven't tested this, but I have a theory that Solar Lance probably has a decent chance of bugging out trains so that your ally doesn't even have to kill them after you kill them.
I thought Architect of War was the go-to here. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I would prefer P2.
Zap 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 zap.
That is a way to instantly delete trains. The problem with the biggest concern I'd have with buildings is that if your ally isn't completely on top of being able to show up immediately, your buildings can't run away and wait for your ally. They just sit there and die horribly, and now you have no buildings, and now you are useless.
Okay, so letter.
I think that he's A tier. I would personally highly recommend units, but you can use Architect of War if you can really trust your ally to make it on time.
All right. How about you, Tutu?
Looks like it's my turn to forget about P2 existing. Usually Stick Spender forgets about P2. I forgot about P2. Mainly because, well, actually, the first train, you can get 2 carriers or so with Chrono Wave, you probably get 2 carriers by the first train, and you can finish the Solar
carriers.
Lance fire upgrade.
Yeah, I think
So yeah, you should be fine. I think I put him in B because of Architect of War, but I think with the carrier thing, like you're super tanky and stalling, and you can follow the train. And you have like cooldowns to pick off stray units that are attacking like somewhere else that are yours. I think A is reasonable.
all right. I had him in A with the Arctic War thing, but both of you are good at A also, so it doesn't matter now. A it is without prestige.
Also, if you don't have prestige, so your building is up, it carriers is slower, or if you're just like not super on top of your macro, you can always just bring in zealots because they are also obscenely tanky.
Oh yeah, they're
if they're
super
reviving
tanky.
on death.
True.
So, yeah,
Without prestige, still A.
yeah, I would say yes. I think that with P0, you're just going to have to do that adding in zealots early on thing, and then just transition to carriers, and by the mid game, you are already a blob of carriers.
All right. Kerrigan, where do we have him?
Kerrigan, she has Omega Worms, which stall and provide mobility, which is great.
Pulse detection.
Folly of Man is pretty good with DPS, but I don't. You can get like armor shredding lings to help with killing the train. I think she's okay, but you can't let her die. As usual, you can't let her die.
Can't
She
let
can't
her die. She has to be mortal.
And I think the lightning stuns even if they're not yours, right?
I think so.
So
Correct. I don't
that's
remember.
helpful.
I don't remember if they actually fixed the fact that it targets things that aren't yours. That might have actually gotten changed in one of the patches. I don't remember though. I'm not certain.
I put her in B.
Okay. How about you, Sixbender?
Yeah, that seems reasonable. I believe, yeah, if you have your Zerglings attack the train when it's not your polarity, it will still give the armor shred, even though it does 0 damage, right?
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either. And I think it's the case though.
I think
status
it does,
effects.
So you can help your. I think you can help your ally with that.
I think polarity doesn't stop.
You can.
Yeah, I think polarity only stops damage,
even if it's
not
allied?
status effects.
Yeah, if you attack command something that's not your polarity, it'll attack it. It'll just attack it for 0 damage.
Yeah. So B.
B.
I feel like there's an argument for A, but I'm okay seeing her in B. Yeah.
Without prestige, still B.
Much lower B, but
Much lower B.
that bad. Yeah, without. Well, no. I was actually thinking of using P3 personally, but definitely P2 and P3 are going to both be very strong here, and then P0 is going to be a decent chunk down, and then P1 is like C tier.
P1's like C. Well, yeah.
P1 is always the worst.
Rip.
Well, not always, but usually the worst.
On this map, it might be usable. Maybe
Yeah.
just because it's not that big.
Yeah, I get the map isn't that big, and it would give. Okay, yeah, no, P1 can also be the same tier because P1 does at least give your ally the super creep speed thing. Because creep already, remember, Kerrigan's creep gives 30% attack speed to everything standing on it. So if your ally has a ground army that isn't spell based, then your ally is going to be very, very appreciative of your creep.
Nice.
I think a lot of people forget just how good Kerrigan creep is as a support tool. It's an extremely potent support tool.
All right. So B.
B.
All right, B. Nova, where do we have him?
She has DPS for trains. She has tanking for trains. She has ally tanking, where she can make her ally tanky. Defense drone is incredibly good.
Oh yeah, defensive drone, really good.
Yeah, defensive drone is extremely good. It makes your allies super, super tanky. Nova can blink around in front of things to tank as well, since, I'm just assuming you run out of defense drone charges because you're doing so much trying to make your ally not die because your ally is incompetent, let's assume.
Or you just take too long to fly over. Liberty's so awesome, though.
Yeah. Liberators are great. Liberators are fast, by the way. They fly quite fast.
Not the
You have
Robins.
airlift. You have Griffin airlift to airlift you and your allies' army. So you can move your ally around to help them with low mobility. Basically, Nova has the tools to help pick up the slack for their ally on any front. And yeah, she's just A tier, I think.
How about you, Tutu?
Yeah, I think she's a solid pick. So she can kill the trains quickly and she can help her ally. She has mobility and stalling capabilities. I put her in A.
Nice. Unanimous. So without Soldier Fortune, okay, without Prestige, where do you have him?
Still A.
Still A.
Still A. All right.
Just A with fewer liberators. Hey, I mean, if you want to spend your extra money on something else, you can always make siege tanks and spew spider mines at the train to make it die even faster.
Cool. Statboy, where do we have him?
Stepboy, Zerglings continue to forget how to die. Ultralisks continue to forget how to die. Ultralisks continue to shoot up against non-Zerg, which is still silly, and I love it.
Yeah.
Gary continues to be strong enough to solo all the units anyways, even if it is an air comp, so Gary will keep you alive. And then Green Zone will make you and your ally regenerate rapidly and get all the shields from the Steadolite Overcharge. And yeah, like, the only reason not to put him in S tier is honestly because Mengsk is just an order of magnitude better. So I'd say A tier.
Wait, do you guys think Arcturus deserves another double S? Or
No.
Possible.
I don't think so.
No, exclusively because this mutation is Polarity just dies. So
I
just
think-
having S tier is already like absurd.
Yeah, it's already absurd. All right, that's fair. How about you, Tutu? What do you think about Statboy?
I think you can also use the lurkers. Their focus strike algorithm damages trains better than the Zerglings do. But yeah, other than that, you just do normal things. You do what you normally do, and you can kill your train pretty quickly, kill all your stuff pretty quickly, and give your ally support. So he's like top of A or bottom of S.
Do you think he has a shot at
I'd
S?
stick him in A. I'd stick him in A.
All right. If it's not unanimous, it's not S. Statboy.
But he is definitely the top of A. And I do not think that he needs lurkers, to be honest, because as long as you remember to get the attack speed upgrade for your Zerglings at your spawning pool, that's plus 100% attack speed. It makes your Zerglings nibble fast, and Zergling Ultralisk should have enough DPS, and then that way you can make sure your entire army is units that are not able to die.
I should try
So
that.
even if your ally isn't doing their job of killing things, your units will take, longer to die than the train does.
Who will win? A 20,000 hit point train or one bitey boy? All right. Swann, Stukov, where do we have him?
Stukov, P3 is terrible for this one. I don't think. I think it's too little DPS early on, so you're not gonna kill your train. Unlike the last one, the Scythe of Amon mutation, at least your ally can buy time by killing their shard first, especially if they get sniped. This one, you have to deal with the objective early on. You can use P1, Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks plus tanks, pretty good, I would say.
Pretty good.
Not super great though. Maybe C.
What do you think, Stixminder?
So I've done just die but not polarity solos on this map with P3 Stukov, and I can very much confirm no. The early trains are not a problem at all. It's not the early trains that are a problem. It's the later trains where you need so many tanks to make P3 have enough DPS. I think that T2 is vastly underestimating how squishy the early trains are compared to later trains. Like, the early trains are squishy. The later trains are a problem. Either way, P3 is going to need to use a whole lot of tanks, or you could just use P2, or 1, I mean, not P2, P1, and just straight up tank. So much tank.
Not Diamondbacks? I think Diamondbacks are.
Or Diamondbacks. You can also use Diamondbacks.
This map was specifically made for Diamondbacks, if you remember Rings of Liberty.
Yes, but that's because Blizzard forgot that the siege tank existed and was even better for this situation.
Well, it's not. I don't think they forgot. It's just that the siege tank is locked behind a later mission.
Yes, well, I'm just gonna say it. The biggest problem with the Diamondback is that it does exactly what the siege tank does, but worse in every way.
Rip.
So,
It pulls
in the
down
case
air
of Stukov,
units.
his Diamondback has been buffed enough that he's actually got a Diamondback that's decently good. You can make Diamondbacks with your tanks. I think you will still want tanks, but if you go pure mass Diamondback, it'll work. He could go in C tier. I'm not
How about you,
convinced
Tutu?
he's that. Tutu also said C tier.
Okay.
I'm not convinced he's that much better than the D tiers, but
Well, C tier's empty, so I'll put him there anyway.
yeah, I'm okay with him in C tier. I don't think he's necessarily that much better than the D tier, but it's like we just got a close C tier and D tier, but they're, far enough that I won't complain about it.
Swann, where do we have him?
So Swann has
Wraiths.
Yeah.
Laser.
Your laser drill does slow things that aren't your polarity, so that's a thing. You can slow stuff.
That's beautiful.
Yay. So you can just have, like, if the enemy comp doesn't have strong anti-air DPS, you can have a fleet of floating factories that lets you drill down your half of waves before it even comes close to your ally. So that's nice.
It is.
You're probably going to want to use Turret Wraith. You could use Hercules with tanks. If you do that, you are going to be sitting behind your ally and saying, all right, you tank while I shoot with questionable DPS, because his tanks do not have as much DPS as you think they do. He's in one of the blue tiers.
Kalagan did really well with Wraiths here. After I killed my train, he took like 5 seconds to kill the second life. How about you two? Where do we have Swann?
I didn't think. Well, I thought like you would use P. If you use P2, spread turrets everywhere, that could work. And you have your call downs to like blast the enemies. So like your share, at least a fourth of them will be the first life of all of yours will be gone each time you use a call down, and then the turrets they can deal with the rest. You just probably spread the turrets further along the tracks, but that's probably not a reliable method.
Yeah, I don't think so.
The Wraith P1 Wraith turret is probably better.
Agree.
I don't think it's as strong as the B tiers, so C. I think C is fine.
All right, both of you are okay with C tier, right?
Without, yeah, as I said, the blue tiers. He's either C or D. C and D are both very close this time.
Without prestige, does he change? Still C?
I don't think he dramatically changes, to be honest with you. Like, your laser drill can't kill as much, which sucks, but at least you have top bar cooldowns for your laser drill,
change,
so it can try. I think it doesn't change enough.
With polarity, just
especially
die.
if you're using top bar correctly, I think it doesn't change enough how quickly your laser drill kills stuff.
Really?
Worst case scenario, you just have to use your wraiths a bit more, which micro them good, lol.
I think the fact that we have just that polarity means we have to kill things over and over again. So I think sustained damage with the first prestige is that much of an impact.
The first prestige doesn't change the DPS of the laser drill itself, though.
On single target.
Splash. It lets it hit splash, true, but
All right, if you say still C, then I don't really have any strong argument. C it is. Tychus, where do we have him?
Tychus has good mobility, good damage. Well, Sam at least has good damage.
He can go snipe train.
I don't. I mean, there's nothing really special. There's no real different way you play. You just do what you normally do and hope that
it's enough.
You kill your train quickly, or you hope you stall for your ally or something. I put him in B.
How about you, Stickbender?
Have you considered crowd control style at Tychus?
With Cannonball?
With Cannonball, honestly, I feel like it's the weakest crowd control, ironically enough. Stronger crowd control sources are Sirius with the Fear upgrade is really good.
Blaze.
Vega with Confuse. Vega can technically damage things of the wrong polarity because when Amon shoots himself with Confusion, he can hit things that are not your polarity. Blaze, Blaze, that's a giant area of just everything is slowed to a crawl and its attack speed is reduced massively.
Especially since they clump up so hard in this map.
Yeah. And yeah, you can add Vega if you want, but I'd probably add one of the healing outlaws. I would personally recommend P1 here. If you have a healing outlaw, you can heal your ally and also give them the damage buff. Because remember, both of your healers give a DPS buff to all friendly units in the area. So you can buff your allies' DPS. You have great crowd control. You have, your trained DPS isn't amazing, but it's good enough. I would say Tychus is A tier.
Does that sway you to 2?
Without Sam?
Without Sam, you can do it without Sam. If you're using P1, you will find that Tychus actually becomes a bit more of a DPS power center for you with the -5 armor shred thing. And then you just, have all of Sirius' turrets focusing on the same train cart as Tychus is reducing the armor by 5. And yeah, honestly, it's really good. And of course, without P2, now you get the ult upgrade for Tychus. And yeah, that swings the DPS a lot in the favor of Tychus. But if you are having trained DPS problems, you can get Sam. And remember, the ultimate gear that you're missing out of P2 on Sam is a massive cooldown reduction on his ability. So yeah, I'd say that you can live without Sam. If you are having trouble with DPS, you can get Sam. It works fine. But I don't think I'd recommend P2 here because
I don't like P2 on this map. It's just
exactly.
narrow.
P2 on this map is the biggest thing that makes you so unbelievably dependent on Sam. Without Sam, you can DPS down trains without P2. It's just that Sam is still the strongest DPS. So if you need the extra train DPS, add in Sam. That's fine. But I would definitely go Tychus into Sirius here personally.
Okay. So
which is play normally.
Yeah, which is what you do normally, because Sirius is kind of just the strongest outlaw in general. He's the most versatile and generally powerful. I think the biggest thing is just get the fear upgrade on Sirius as a bigger priority than I think a lot of people normally do. And remember, Tychus has an upgrade for his grenade that makes it stun for 2 seconds. So remember to get that too.
Yeah. So does it? Yeah. So A or B?
I think he's a solid A, actually.
Solid A. What do you think, Tutu? Does that convince you?
All right.
Vorazun, where do we have him?
She has a lot of crowd control. You might be thinking, oh, I could use P2 to make my crowd control better. No, that kind of makes your crowd control worse overall, actually, because it means you can't kill things. You can crowd control, but you can't kill things with P2 Vorazun. I think you're going to literally be better at using a P2 style of P3, which is typically the case. P3 is just the best Vorazun prestige.
Yes, hands down.
Yes, you have Dark Pylon, which can recall you and your ally, so you can teleport your ally around. You can force them to show up. Get over here and help me shoot things.
Boros is more like Scorpion.
You have decently good DPS. The reason I say only decently good DPS instead of stellar DPS is that Dark Templar are going to have a bit of trouble with the whole polarity just die thing because Dark Templar are burst damage, not sustained damage. Right? It's like you cast Shadow Fury and then you do no damage until you cast Shadow Fury again, unless you walk in and fight units where half of them are immune to you and you're fighting them at melee with fragile Dark Templar. No, that's not a great idea. You also have Time Stop, at which point you can just aim move Dark Templar because Time Stop. And Time Stop also makes life a lot easier for ally. It's like she's got a lot of crowd control. She's got good damage. She's got good ability to teleport her ally around. Her stuff is just so fragile. I think that she's probably a B tier here, personally.
B. How about you, Tutu?
He has the the usual problem of how do you shoot up? Because if
How shoot up?
if you're fighting air, then you lose ground DPS.
If you're fighting air,
Time
I'd
stop.
probably just mass Void Rays here. Void Rays are decently good on this map.
I guess you could do that. The time stop messes with train timings and also separates the escorts from the train. I noticed that every time I use time stop, the last wave for the 9th train, like it will attack before it will attack a lot sooner than usual.
Yes. So right. With time stop on this map, time stop delays train timings, but does not delay attack wave timings, so it'll desync them in a weird way. This is true. However, I almost forgot to mention this. Vorazun does have one thing to compensate for that. If you time stop right when what you can do with time stop is you time stop right when the train is popping out, when the escort, I believe it's when the escort has spawned, but it hasn't started following the train yet.
Oh yeah.
If you time stop then, the escort will just stay in the base and never follow the train, and out comes a completely undefended train.
Does that
which
still
is
work?
Pretty helpful. Pretty sure, yeah.
Oh wow. I should try that.
It requires like perfect timing though, right?
No.
Perfect,
It's the whole window between when the train spawns and when the train gets up to that further up point where it meets up with the wave. That whole window, if you activate it anywhere in that window, it breaks it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I've done it
This is
before.
probably something you need to like write down the number or something.
Yeah, write down the
No,
number.
it's like the
timing.
train spawns. Activate time stop anytime within the next 20 seconds and you're fine.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure.
That's interesting.
Like all I remember is that it was like a comically large timing window. Like it's a huge window. The only reason that you wouldn't accidentally stumble upon this bug is that it's a window that necessitates that you're using time stop right before you fight Amon.
Yeah, people usually activate time stop and then charge into the enemy.
Not, oh look, a wave just spawned. Let's activate time stop while it's in the enemy base.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's like, yeah, no, that's all you have to do. Activate time stop while it's in the enemy base, and it's a huge window.
My goodness.
Like several seconds.
I have to.
And it's not even like any time memorization. It's the verbal notification the game gives you that the train just spawned is your cue to do it.
That's gonna make double trains really easy to deal with. Just just save for the double trains. You power up for the single trains. Yeah, that sounds good.
Does that make her go up a tier?
Maybe I could see her in low A tier.
With that trick.
Wait, do we? I thought we don't count like bugs here. I thought we don't count bug cheeses here. If we count that, we should also count the one where Abathur abducts the ships on minor evac.
Here's the thing. I feel like if it takes you an hour to beat minor evac, then actually you arguably are even lower tier. That's my argument.
You can't lose though.
No,
yeah, well,
like you're breaking the game, whereas this one, it's like Contaminated Strike.
Yeah, this is more like Contaminated Strike. It's not breaking the game. It's just confusing an attack with.
It's using game mechanics in an unexpected way. All right, fine. If you guys both agree, I just washed my hands off of it.
This isn't quite the same thing as Vorazun, where before they fixed it, she could just solo this mutation.
That's true.
Easily.
That's true.
That would be something that'd be like, let's not count the fact that Vorazun can solo this completely and utterly.
All right. So what, do we agree on A now?
I think we agree on A. I think
with that trick, A.
Yeah. With that trick, A. Without that trick, like top of B.
All right, not too far then. All right, let's have another A. I have so many A's. My goodness, for a mutation like this, to have so many A's. Zagara.
Just use one of the A's and you'll be fine. Use one of the B's and you'll
just use the S and you'll be fine.
Use the S and you'll be very fine. Yeah, sadly,
both B makes.
We can't both be Minx. Otherwise, this would be really easy. You would just both target your ESOs at the same spot and everything dies.
I can confirm. I played Balma Marketing. I was Arcturus. He was Karax. It was so easy. Zagara, where do we have him?
you probably have to use bio launchers, and you probably have to get enough damage.
Check it off the
But
bingo
then,
card.
if your train is later, well, you want that to deal a lot of AOE to kill your stuff, and that allows you to hit stuff without wasting banelings.
Okay.
Because you don't want to use banelings on units that you can't damage. But she has armor shredding wings for trains, which is nice, but it's not that good overall. I think D.
What do you think, Sixbender?
This is weird. Usually I'm the one who's saying Zagara is terrible, and Tutu's about to say she's better. If you just line the entire base with bio launchers, and you're like playing P3 with mass bio launcher, almost no units, just bio launcher and Zagara hero unit, and maybe a couple links to armor shred for your ally, you're just bad Mengsk. Very bad Mengsk. But your bio launchers can delete everything while you have Zagara hero unit fighting with your ally.
Why bad? Her bio launcher can shoot up.
Her bio launcher can shoot up.
And
you know what her bio launchers can't do? They can't stun.
They target
can't
more accurately.
Shoot into the enemy base. They can't deal with things that aren't your polarity with contaminated strike.
They also take Mengsk's spot.
Well,
you compete for space. No, Arcturus can build further
they
back.
Don't compete that much for space because Arcturus doesn't want to build along the cliff face because that's high risk.
Yeah,
that attack wave could
you can build in the middle of the base. Anyway,
yes, whereas Zagara has to build along the cliff face because they just barely have enough range to reach.
So letter, Stixbender.
I think she's B.
B. Okay, a B versus a D. Huh. Can we compromise and just put her in C?
So you without controlling the bio launchers, you're just gonna have them hit the tracks?
Yeah, I think you'll probably want to control the bio launchers for the most part, but yeah.
What do you think, the two?
Well, yeah, you'll want to control them, as in when a wave is coming, you preset them up to be like a scatter shot that's all over the place, and then when a train is coming, you focus them back down onto the track. But other than that, you preset the bio launchers.
How do you scatter shot the bio launchers when they all shoot the same spot as long as they're on the
same
range?
Same way you split Scourge or Irradiates or whatever in Brood War. You select all your bio launchers, you tell them to shoot a spot, you deselect one of them.
Shift click.
Next spot.
Sounds tedious, but yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, it's a bit tedious, but you have plenty of time to do it because you can do it before the wave arrives, and then it'll just remember until the wave arrives.
Can we agree to compromise on C, or are we gonna change, or are we gonna insist?
I think she's B tier, to be honest.
What do you think?
I don't think she's better than Swann.
Really?
At least Swann is much easier too. Yeah. And Swann slows.
Yeah, Swann slows stuff down.
I don't know. I would personally think Zagara would be easier and better than Swann, but okay, I guess we can put her in C tier.
There. Oh, I said the thing again. Zeratul, where do we have him?
I think that Zagara is, if in this case, the absolute best C tier.
Zeratul, where do we have him?
So your second power set for your top bar literally is pick your crowd control. So that's helpful. So he has crowd control. He has incredible train DPS. If you're making like Dark Templar, they'll just blink through the train and instantly delete it. If you're making Stalkers, because you're worried about polarity or something, fair enough. But also they still have incredible DPS and will shred everything. You will probably want to use gate units because gate units have a lot more DPS. Or you could just use Cannon Sentry, and cannons have enough DPS for the trains, and your sentries can just, sit there and reflect everything back at Avon and just say, no, you.
Yes.
Either way.
There's also one of the maps where you can cage the artifact.
Yes, you can cage the artifact. Also, if you do use a sentry-based playstyle, or you like Sentry Stalker, or maybe even Sentry Immortal Stalker, you're decently tanky. You're not great tankiness, but you're decently tanky, so you can provide the tanking that an ally might be in need of if you encounter, someone who's like, I need you to stand in front of me so I don't die.
So The latter.
Yeah, good damage, good crowd control. I'm not convinced on A tier though, so I'd say he's B tier again.
What do you think, Tutu?
Well, there's the Avatar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
the
there's
dude.
Avatar. Okay, yeah, no, I think he is A tier. You're right. Avatar is that good.
There's also the Archons. If you steal something, then they don't revive because they're now yours.
Yeah.
That's true.
And Dark Archons
I-
are tanky.
I would use the call down, extend call down duration. So you put the yellow avatar with your ally stuff, they get buffed like crazy, and they get buffed for a longer duration. So
And the best part is
And
if
it
you have full
devolves.
avatar mastery, the cooldown is 3 minutes, and anything with a 3-minute cooldown can now be used on every train if you're like using it very much like on cooldown.
Nice. So
Because the trains spawn about every 3 minutes.
So A. That's a lot of A's.
I put him in A.
Half the commands are an A. My goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Um,
basically just like half the commanders are like, yeah, you can do this, assuming your ally is,
decent.
even halfway decent. They like everyone in A except for Alarak has the ability to support that ally too, like quite a lot.
Yeah.
Alarak might
That's
actually only
true.
be a B tier.
Okay. Now let's go to rankings. Stat Boy's top of A, right?
Yeah, Step Boy is top of A. I'd argue for Tychus second best, but
You think Tychus second best?
I think Tychus is really good here.
What do you think, Tutu?
Nova.
Yeah, Liberators are pretty good.
I'd be okay with Nova
Defensive
above
drone.
Tychus, yeah.
Defensive drone. Airstrike probably less useful, but Liberators definitely. Raven
Personally,
healing.
I'd put Tychus above, but I'd put Nova third, so I'm okay seeing Nova above Tychus.
So then Nova, then Tychus?
Yeah.
How about you, Tutu?
Okay.
All right, who's
I
next?
feel like Alarak should go to B compared to all the
Yeah,
other.
that's what I said.
All right,
That's what I was saying.
I'm okay with this. Who's next? Karax? I think Fenix is also pretty decent.
Yeah.
I haven't tried the Vorazun time stop thing yet, but if that's true, she still has the house shoot up thing, so I can't put her that high.
Well, no, because
Mass
this is
Void
like
Race?
this is like one of the best possible maps for Mass Void Race.
Okay, so you can do
So,
Mass
like,
Void Race and just time stop.
This is a map where you can totally just Mass Void Race.
Okay. I suppose it'll also work against Bailing Scourge as long as you have enough, or just Corsairs.
As long as you have enough, because Void Rays are hit scan. So yes, as long as you have enough, they don't care about Scourge.
Okay.
Scourge revive, though.
Yeah, Scourge revive.
Yes, but it still is a hit scan unit, and like it's kind of like Scourge versus Marines. Look at how fast Scourge die if they fly over Marines. It's that, but with slightly less DPS.
Okay, so who's fourth?
Keep in mind also you can sit in a Dark Pylon if you're Void Rays, which gives them the plus 15% damage, and also means that if you just target down Overseers, then the Scourge can't hit you.
Who's fourth in A?
Zeratul?
Oh, I thought Zeratul was the bottom.
bottom.
Well, no, but dang it, I don't know. I literally don't know how to order the 4 protests.
All right, I'll just leave them as they are. They're the same commander. Well, not the same, but the same.
Close enough.
Close enough. All right, who's top of B? Alarak?
Alarak has enough DPS.
He was demoted
much
from
more
A.
DPS than the others.
Yeah, he was demoted from A.
He has much more DPS than the others. The reason he was demoted is because it's like, wait,
he doesn't support.
Actually, half the commanders in this game have really good crowd control, and Alarak, I mean, he can wave his arms, which is something.
He has force fields.
What is Karax's crowd control?
Amon has massive units.
What is Karax's crowd control?
Orbital strike stun.
I can't remember the last time I actually researched orbital strike stun, but sure.
I would highly recommend getting it here. It is the weakest of the crowd control in A, but
It is still crowd control.
it's
I prefer having
better than
energizers
Alarak.
steal mechanical units so they don't respawn.
Yeah, there's that too, and also Karax buffs his ally with both energizers and repair beam.
Yeah.
Assuming his ally has mechanical things.
All right.
Repair beam
Cool.
is hugely good. Unity barrier is hugely good.
So Dehaka or Kerrigan?
Dehaka.
All right. Good. C. Who's the best among the C?
I really feel like Dehaka is above Alarak. Anyways, best among the C, Zagara.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you can tell, Sticksman, what time it is for me and Tutu. We're just okay. Oh wait. There we go. Zagara. There we go. Zagara. Swann or Stukov? Stukov has better tanks.
Swann, because Stukov against air.
All right.
Yes.
I'm okay with
With
this.
Diamondbacks, that could get messy.
I'm okay with this. D. Rainer or Artanis?
I don't know.
Rainer.
All right.
If you're using the Rebel Raider strat.
All right. And F. There. All right.
Yeah.
There it is. Guys. Watch Tutu and Sticksbetter's channels. I will link them below. Good luck if you want to try this mutation. I highly recommend voice chat. Voice chat is probably more important than your commander choice.
Well, you could just pick the F tiers and then you're dead anyways.
There it is. Yeah, unless you pick F tiers. Voice chat is probably more important than your commander choice. And then pick Arcturus and someone. Arcturus and someone. Then you're good. I'll see you guys next time.